Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful time. I can't believe right here in Diani it is just too hot. Guys, we are sweating in Diani. The sun is out. But when you go to places like Nairobi and let's say the western region, it is raining cats and dogs. And that is why I usually say life, it's something different, because in a couple of days or maybe weeks to come, this side will be raining and the other side will be hot. So what do? We continue taking some water. Huh? I was told if you go to America and say you want a bottle of water, those guys won't get what you say. You have to say, may I have a barrel of water? A barrel of water. What is that? What kind of English is that? But anyway, that's a story for another day. But in today's video, I just want us to, this is story time. I haven't posted a video for, let's say, for quite some days, and it's a bit like, if you're used to posting a video, let's say daily, and then all of a sudden you are doing 5, 6, 7, 8 days, it becomes like a disease. So I'm like, no, let me bring this one up. Okay, so this year I have managed to be in Tanzania and also been able to go to Kampala, Tanzania. I was specifically I was in Dar es Salaam, and then in Uganda I went to Kampala city. Now, these are some of the things I noticed about these two countries. Okay, I'm not going to put in Kenya, because if you want to talk about Kenya, then let it not be me, because sometimes we are told you can be busy talking about somebody else, but you don't know what is in your own eyes. So I'm going to talk about Tanzania and Uganda. If you're going to talk about Kenya, okay, let me know in the comment section below. But now, to start us off, Tanzania, to me, it is an organized country. Why do I say so? Look at the construction of the BRT. These guys are constructing the future. Yeah, the future is not like they're doing something for tomorrow. These guys are doing it for the future, because of the many people now are moving into the city and all that. So there's a lot of congestion. There are a lot of people who have just decided to go to Dar es Salaam city. Okay, now one thing you need to know, or when I say it is so organized, when you have to, or rather before you get into the mwendokasi buses, you just have to pay in advance. So when you get onto that bus, everything is done. It's not like you have to go start paying and all that, and all that is done. Look at the ferry. The ferry, if you have to cross to the other side, let's say if you are on the Kigamboni side and you are coming into this side, there's a place you have to pay. Yeah, that one makes me feel like these guys are so organized. And then when they're constructing the bridge, you see it is in the middle of the road. So in the future, and that is why I said Tanzania is constructing the future. In the future, if they have to expand the road, they will be expanding the road to the other side, but they will have already done with the middle section of the road. Now, another thing I like about Tanzania, the language. Yeah, people say Tanzanians don't know English. True, false. There are those people who know English, there are those people who don't know English. And the best part of it, those who do not know English, they do not pretend. They will definitely tell you, hey, madam, I can't understand what you're saying. I remember this scenario. I wanted to withdraw some money. That is from, I was using, this line? The Vodacom line. So back home, I have set my phone to the transaction thing. You call it muamala, I think so. So it is in English. So I was kind of, okay, I don't know how to operate this. So this lady was like, okay, let me do it for you. That is the Wakala agent. I gave her the phone, but then after a few minutes I realized there was a bit of delay. And then she was like, hi, madam, I don't understand because your phone is in English. Wow. Okay. That is something I would say You don't have to pretend when you don't know it. Just say you don't know, you don't understand. And that one happened to me like several times, not just one person, not just two people, not just three. Several of them were like, Nano, I don't understand English. I don't understand your phone. So at some point, I had to set my phone to Kiswahili, just for better, or for to make the transaction a bit faster. Come to dressing about Tanzania. When you go to Tanzania, even the way I'm dressing, like right now, it's just the top, it's more open. They don't like it, especially if you have to go into government offices. They won't like it. I remember there's a day when I was going to extend my visa at the uhamiaji. So I was putting on a dress. And then the place I was staying, they were like, madam, just carry something that you're going, just in case they say, because my dress was just slightly below the knee. But I'm like, if you go there, that is what I'm told. If you go to the immigration, skimpily dressed, the askari at the gate has the power to ask you to either go back and dress, or if you have a lasso, to tie it around. Yeah, you can just imagine how organized Tanzania is. Now, let me talk about my worst experience in Tanzania. I know this is where now the rubber meets the road. I went to Magufuli bus terminal, and I had a video about it, but I haven't posted the video. The video got spoiled for obvious reasons, and I couldn't just upload it. Yeah, that place, there are so many people, which is a good thing. People are trying to find a way of living. But what I found odd, just going on the opposite of when I say Tanzania is organized. You're going to meet all these brokers along the road. And when you're just about, even before you cross, even before you get to the flyover, there's a matatu stage, the ones that will take you to town. Let's say after lighting at the Magufuli bus terminal, you want to go to the CBD, you want to go to either direction, there's another bus station somewhere there. So right there, the guys already coming from me, from the window and all that, and they're like, madam, you are going to Arusha. This is the road, this is the route, let me take you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going. But these guys, they did insist, even after telling them I'm not traveling, but they still insisted to take me. Boss, I'm not traveling. I don't have a ticket. I'm not having any travel document. But they were like, let us take you. I found it a bit, it was a bit of a bother. I didn't like the experience. What I'm explaining here, it is a bit different. It might look a bit lighter. But for the people who've been to that terminal, now, that is just the first bus station when you alight from wherever you are coming from. Now, after you do the flyover, you want to get into the Magufuli bus terminal. There's this, it is a Morogoro Road. Quite a major road. So just before you cross the road, you can see guys on the other side calling you, are like, come. And I'm looking at it, that is just a disaster in waiting. Because some people, or rather some of us, we don't really check left, right before we cross the road. So when you see somebody calling you on the other side, mentally it disturbs you. Chances of you jumping into the road, or rather walking straight into the road, it's very high, and you are going to be knocked on the other side with the car. That is a main road, that is a highway. So I found it a bit odd, and then they're just too many. Yeah, they're trying to get a living. I don't refuse that, but they're just too many. If I told the first one, hey, I'm not traveling, I don't have a ticket, I've just come to explore the matatu terminus, fine, let me go. But you want to hold my hand, you want to take my bag after I've explained to you I'm not traveling. And then, okay, after I try to convince the first one, then there's a second one, there's a third one, there's a fourth one. And I'm like, ooh, this is just too many. Another one, I went to Morogoro. What? I can tell you guys, Dar es Salaam or Tanzania, the few I interacted with, not everybody, the few, or rather the majority, few. Is that, do we have something like that in English? Anyway, the few I interacted with, I can say Tanzanian guys are so sharp. I like that, they're so sharp. No guy I met, this guy was like, okay, all of them, they wanted my contact and they were ready to marry me. You know, straight to the point. They don't go beating about the bush. Madam, I like you. And can we be friends? Friends that can lead to something else? Okay, that is from the few I came to meet. But there's a disappointing part. I met this guy in Morogoro. So I wanted to have a taste of mushkaki in Morogoro. Mushkaki and, is it plantain or just banana? So I went somewhere and requested for, let me have this and that. So there was this guy. Oh my God, he didn't even give me time to pick whatever I wanted, to be like, okay, let me have this and that. The guy was like, hey, madam, I can hear you Kiswahili. You are not Tanzanian. And I'm like, yeah, I'm your neighbor on the other side. Yeah, I can tell now. I think I like you. Now, you know, the many stories started. Can we be friends? Where are you going to? And I remember I was going to a place that night. So this guy was like, ooh, I just don't know. You know, I'm still waiting for the banana. I was still waiting for my mushkaki to be ready. But this guy was not just give me a chance. He wanted me to go with him. Even to the place I was going to, he wanted me to go with him to my hotel room, and I was like, dude, I'm tired with all this. In fact, at some point I lost appetite for the food because, man, you know, for a whole half an hour, you're trying to tell somebody, no, I'm busy. I cannot go with you to a place I'm going to. You know, I just wanted to see how Morogoro looks at night. So I just wanted to go on a street walk and then go back to my hotel room because I remember that day I was going to have a live video. I'm telling this guy I'm going to do a video and then a live one. He's like, I won't disturb you. I'll just be seated somewhere. And I'm like, in my hotel room? Dude, doing what? Ooh, that was my worst experience. My worst experience. I don't think that is how we're supposed to do. I know somebody might be like, okay, Pam, ukipendwa pendeka. But if I tell you, yeah, I'm busy, we can meet maybe the day after tomorrow, why don't you accept that? Why should you insist? So that one didn't really go down with me, okay? I'll be back shortly. I'm sipping some water here. I really don't know the meaning of this word, but I think, I don't know. Let me not think something that I don't know. Now, to Uganda. Now where do I start? Do you know Uganda has had over 7 presidents? Over 8 actually, 8 presidents. Some of them were elected, some of them got into office in a coup. Did you know that? Did you know that Uganda had the first president, Sir Edward Mutesi II? This is after, now, when it got independence, yeah. And then we had Apollo Milton Obote, we had Idi Amin, we had Yusuf Kironde, Godfrey Binaisa, yeah, and then we got Paul Muwanga. Have I said Obote? Yeah, and then we had Tito Okello, and then we now have the current Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So Uganda has had several presidents, actually more presidents than Kenya. Now, some of the facts about Uganda. If you're traveling to Uganda, let's say from Kenya, and you want to connect through the borders, first of all, I need to alert you, if you're going to use a border to cross, let me say the legal way, because sometimes maybe you have a luggage, might want a border to help you carry your luggage. That is after you obtain all the necessary documents. The guys at the Busia border or the Malaba border, I remember this guy was about to con me, but I was sharper than him. This guy was like, okay, this is after I got my stamp, I got my, my exit and entry to Uganda. So he needs to help me cross to the other side. So the guy at some point, he was like, okay, do you know you are supposed to pay for chicken pox? And I'm like, dude, how much? And then he was like 1,000 Kenya shillings. This is like 20,000 Tanzania, or it's almost the same, like 20 when you go to Uganda. Not 20, okay, Uganda, their value, it's a bit lower. But let me just say 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is what he needed. So he was like, I give him about 800. And I listened to the story. I was like, boss, I'm a journalist. This is not my first time I'm traveling on this road, so I can easily arrest you. So when this guy heard that, he was like, no, I'm sorry, madam, it won't happen again. Oh, sometimes I usually tell you, when I try to speak some fluent English, it quickly rounds off to my mother tongue. So I told this guy, no, what you are doing here, it's very wrong. So for you, if you are planning to go to Uganda, or even Tanzania, but mostly Uganda, just be careful with those guys. Nobody should ask you for money to pay for chicken pox. No, the only thing you need to have, it's a yellow card. You are supposed to have been vaccinated, okay? You do not pay any money to enter Uganda. No, or Kenya, or Tanzania. No, just have your documents right. Yeah, now that is a story for another day. I think the guys at the border can just do something like that. Now, after I had crossed to the other side, now I wanted to take a taxi to Kampala because I wasn't using a bus. Oh my God, if you are in a hurry, I prefer start your journey early. Early in a way, better use a bus. Or just on your material day, the day of traveling, and you must use the taxi. Just ensure you got time, because these guys are not good timekeepers. I remember at some point, these guys had already gotten into the taxi. We've taken off. But then somebody had to look for an M-Pesa shop. The car had to stop for another like 20 minutes, waiting for somebody to go and get an M-Pesa. And I'm like, how? When you get into Matatu, you're supposed to be ready with all your money. So we waited for another half an hour. That is why I say they're not good timekeepers, the drivers. And then as we continue to go into Uganda, at a point, the driver had just to stop to buy a mshkaki. And I'm like, damn it, a mshkaki for real? And I'm, okay. Wait until you get to that place where they sell, is it in Ginger, where they sell chicken? By the roadside, yeah. They have to stop, or rather you have to stop. They have to stop to bite a few pieces. So that is when I say, or rather that is why I say, if you're going to Kampala and you're going to use the taxis, just have enough time. If you're in a hurry, you are going to get into some shit when you're going down there. Some research was done about Uganda to be the best English speakers. I can say yes or no. The guys who, okay, not everybody does speak English in Uganda. Not everybody, just a few, the learned. It depends with the school you went to, how you are brought up. That is what I was told when I did a bit of interviews with a few Ugandans. So there's this scenario, actually an odd one, and I didn't like it. Like the place I was staying, this guy has employed ladies who don't really understand English. They don't speak Swahili, and it's a bit hard for them to understand English, apart from the supervisor. So I remember there's a day I had an issue with my phone. You know, when you're going out, sometimes the roaming services just stop. So my phone could not do the roaming. So it was a bit hard for me to get some money from M-Pesa to my MTN Uganda because there was no roaming services, because I just didn't know what to do about it. So I'm trying to explain to this lady to give me some time at least. Okay, I understand there are people who take off with some money. But here I am, I've been here for 5 days, I've been paying, but then I cannot pay this time. Let me call some of my friends, see if I can get money on my MTN line, because I got money on my M-Pesa, but I cannot transfer it. So that is the worst experience. You know, so the manager came to me and it's like, the girls are having a bit of a hard time understanding what you say. And I was like, yeah, it is because of the roaming services. You can see she looked at the phone. I couldn't roam. So she understood, because those are some of the challenges people get there. So that is one of my worst experiences in Uganda. When they say they speak good English, yeah, the ones who speak good English, they speak it very well. But most of them, they do not understand it. Another scenario, actually one border I met, he's the only guy who speaks some nice English. But the rest, I remember another scenario. So I was staying at a place just near the Arena Mall, at a place called Zambia. Yeah, so I take the border and busy explaining, you know, there's a US embassy somewhere there. This is along Gaba Road, I think so. So I explained to the guy, I don't want us to use the back side of it. I want us to use Gaba Road. You know, after explaining all that, the guy could still not understand what I'm saying. He still took me to Kabalagala, using the backside, and I was like, come on, man. If you don't understand, why don't we just say, you don't understand, just be like Tanzanians, okay? And then another scenario, the day I was about to leave, this guy, remember, he gave me a real tour of the city, Kampala city. So I find this guy outside my hotel room, and I tell this guy, I want to have, sorry, it is now a bit windy. I don't know whether my microphone is speaking. So I tell this guy, I'm going to Kenya, I'm going to Nairobi, so drop me to the taxis, to the bus terminal. You know, I'm using all the words possible, where I can find a bus to Nairobi. And I'm like, do you know of the stage? The guy was like, yeah. I need to get a Mashpo or any bus that will take me to Nairobi. So the guy was like, oh, okay, I know the place, so let us go. Because I wanted to book earlier so that I may go to the National Theatre. This guy, first of all, I don't know, it's like he doesn't know where the stage is. He didn't just get me, I just don't know. He took me to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I'm like, Foreign Affairs? Dude, what is going on? I'm going to Nairobi, I'm traveling. And then we started another journey back. We drove and I was like, we've gotten to Uganda House. Yeah, you know, Uganda House is one of the first buildings in Uganda. And I'm like, dude, where are we going to? The National Theatre, I was told it's up here. So where are we going to? To the taxis. He didn't know where he was taking me to. So I told him to ask somebody, of which he did, but we still got lost. He asked, I think, 3 times, and then we went round and round like headless chicken until I found myself at the High Court. You know, the High Court, you just walk up and you go to the Parliament and go to the National Theatre. National Theatre is just behind the Parliament. And I'm like, dude, you've wasted my time. You can imagine all this time I haven't booked a bus. Just going round and round and round, simply because the guy don't understand what I'm talking about. And I'm saying, if you do not understand, Never be afraid to tell somebody, hey, I don't understand what you mean. Okay. Maybe have somebody to explain to you. So I just had to let the guy go. I was like, dude, I cannot now. Whose fault was it? Like, because we went around Kampala, that was a real tour of Kampala. So we just had to part ways for me to find my way to the bus, and that is what I did. Have you ever been to Kampala city? Oh my God, there's so many borders in that city. So many of them. In fact, there's a roundabout somewhere. Actually, there's no roundabout. An imaginary roundabout. Oh God, there are just so many. And I just don't know what the government can do, because I'm so sure not all of them like being in that city. It's just to ensure that other towns or rather other cities do work, so that some of these guys can just leave the Kampala city and go to another city where it is less congested. Oh God, that can be confusing. You are like, you can't even spot a border. It's like they just many left, right, and center, left, right, and center. Everyone is just, I just don't know how to explain that. You need to visit Kampala, man. If you haven't visited that country, you really have to visit Kampala. Remember, Kampala in itself, it actually prides in itself to be the source of River Nile that is in Ginger. Yeah, you really need to make a trip to Kampala. Kampala itself, it's a hilly place. I was unable to see some of the cows. I'm told they have some big cows. Yeah, so Kampala is quite a good place to be. So apart from a few challenges here and there, it is also a nice place to be, just like Tanzania, just like Kenya. So thank you guys for always coming back to watch my videos. If this is your first time to bump into this channel, kindly consider to subscribe, like, and also share this video. So somebody will be like, okay, Pam, why are you not talking about Kenya? And I say, sometimes it's just a bit hard for you to talk about yourself. I'll end up talking, or rather saying, the good things about Kenya. There's a lot that is happening right now in this country. I don't want the Subaru boys to be on my side. I don't have a lawyer. Okay? See you in the next. Bye for now.